The final episode of Euphoria is here, a 93-minute roller coaster promising to tie up every loose end. From the very first scene, the stakes couldn't be higher. Official teasers warn that the finale promises major fallout for Rue, Jules, Cassie, Nate, and the rest of East Highland. In fact, HBO's press hints that in God We Trust, nothing stays hidden forever, and all the town's biggest secrets and betrayals finally come to a head. In other words, every character must confront the consequences of their choices. As Bleeding Cool puts it, this group of childhood friends is wrestle ing with the virtue of faith, the possibility of redemption, and the problem of evil. So buckle up. It's going to be an emotional, gut punch finale. At its core, episode 8 asks, will Rue reach her promised land, or is her journey about to end in tragedy? The episode's title and its fiery imagery suggest we'll see if Rue Moses finally makes it to her promise, or if history repeats itself. Throughout season 3, Rue Zendaya has been teetering on the edge, amid the ruins of her own choices, as the official description puts it. Every other episode has threatened her life, and fans have been torn between hope and dread. Some believe Rue has been secretly working as a DEA informant all along, giving her narration new meaning. Others see every biblical symbol pointing to doom. After all, Rue literally had a burning bush moment, and even Alamo threatened to bury her alive. As one recap notes, Rue has been within reach of death in nearly every episode. Everything is lining up to a climax, and Coleman Domingo, Ollie, even teased that the ending will smack people in the face. You don't see it coming. Cassie Howard, Sydney Sweeney, is shown here in anguish, reflecting her world-shattering grief. Cassie and Maddie love and loss. The episode picks up in the aftermath of Nate's fate. Last week's cliffhanger confirmed that Nate Jacobs is dead, buried alive over a massive debt, his shallow grave finally ending him when a rattlesnake slipped in. Now Cassie, Sydney Sweeney, is a young widow just months after her wedding, and she is absolutely devastated. In one of the season's most heartrending moments, the preview shows Cassie stripped of her glamorous facade, teary-eyed and visibly broken. We see her alone on her bed or in the shower, reliving the horror. This is the kind of raw, unfiltered grief that Euphoria does best. Maddie, Alexa Demai, rushes to her side. Despite their rivalry, the two women are all Cassie has left. According to Bleeding Cool, Cassie is broken, and Maddie is now indebted to Alamo and in control of Cassie's career. That means Maddie has to protect Cassie at all costs while also scrambling to solve $1 million problem. Expect a tense, tearful scene where Cassie and Maddie finally pour out everything: anger, guilt, and love, as they trauma bond in the wake of Nate's death. It may even end with them clinging to each other, having found a fragile new friendship in their shared loss. Maddie Perez, Alexa Demai, stands at Alamo's club, facing a harrowing deal. The pressure on her is enormous. For Maddie, this is a make-or-break moment. Alamo, Adewale Akinnuyi-Agbaje, now has leverage. He rescued Cassie thanks to Maddie's deal in episode 7, so Maddie owes him big time. We know Maddie will be scrambling to repay that debt, or face deadly consequences. The preview language, Cassie broken, Maddie indebted, suggests Maddie's life is in crisis. In one scene, Maddie might be shown powerfully brash yet panicked in Alamo's shadowy club, negotiating with dangerous men. She's wearing her designer best, like in press photos, but you can sense the desperation in her eyes. All summer, Maddie's pride got bruised by Cassie and the whole Nate situation, and now she must swallow that pride again to help Cassie and herself. Perhaps she bargains with Alamo, maybe even offering herself or Cassie for the debt. It's classic Euphoria chaos. Fear and loyalty collide. The tone here should be urgent and anxious. We feel the clock ticking. Between Cassie and Maddie's scenes, the episode also ties up smaller threads. By now, Cassie's OnlyFans influencer days are done. Lexi's LA Knights casting is still at issue. Lexi hated that the network refused to hire a real sex worker, and the speculation is Cassie might have to rebuild her life literally from the ground up. The only person standing with her is Maddie. It's a bittersweet moment. Cassie's lost love and a dream, but maybe gained a sister. Faye, Chloe Cherry, is caught in the middle, grappling with secrets and loyalties. Here, she faces off with Wayne, Toby Wallace, after a shocking discovery. Faye and Wayne breaking points. Faye's story reaches a breaking point. Recall at the end of episode 7, Faye learned Lori's safe held not cash but secret ID documents for trafficking victims. In that moment, Faye snapped at Wayne. Their relationship was already toxic and violent. Now in the finale, she's forced to choose. Stick with the only family she has, Wayne, her bully boyfriend, or side with Rue and do the right thing. We see Faye's face contort with rage and fear. Does she confront Wayne about the safe, or maybe even turn her gun on him? It's the critical decision she's been dancing around all season. Chloe Cherry's Faye is tough and impulsive. She might hesitate at first, but the show clearly set up that Faye cares about Rue at heart. One can imagine a scene where Wayne threatens Rue at dawn, a plan to kill her as they planned, and Faye finally intervenes at gunpoint. Whatever happens, Faye is no longer playing coy. This has to come out. It's an intense, high-stakes showdown because Rue's life literally depends on it. We don't have spoilers for exactly how it plays out, but given the hype that things aren't going well for Rue and Coleman Domingo's warning of a twist, expect no mercy here. Perhaps Wayne begs Faye for understanding, and she must blast him or run away with Rue on the spot. Either way, this act will keep you on the edge of your seat. Lexi Maud Apatow in her art studio. She's been writing the script for LA Nights and maybe something more. Lexi and Jules, the quiet observers. Lexi Maud Apatow and Jules Hunter Schafer have been on the sidelines, but the finale addresses them too. Lexi has grown tremendously. The prom-cut, curly-haired wallflower is now wielding sharp wit and protecting her sister's interests, even at the cost of her friendship with Rue. In the final episode, Lexi may finally get some vindication. She's still hustling to finish her screenplay, she mentions it throughout, and a wild theory from Vanity Fair staff is that the season itself is the story Lexi wrote. That may or may not be literally true, but thematically it makes sense. Lexi's novel or play LA Nights has always mirrored the drama of East Highland. We might see her typing a final page or pitching her script to someone, perhaps even to Cassie and Jules, now that Cassie's life is changing. Regardless, Lexi ends up in a better place. She's the only character largely unscathed by Season 3's chaos, so perhaps she'll emerge with her dignity intact. We might see her reconciling with Cassie. Maxwell Adler of VF imagines them finally making peace and escaping town to chase their art dreams. As for Jules, the finale might finally release her from the sugar daddy trap. A Vanity Fair prediction had Jules springing free Thelma and Louise style with enough money to fund her art. In the actual finale, we may see Jules walk away from her penthouse life, suitcase in hand, driven by the knowledge that Rue fought for her, too. Even if we don't see it on screen, the subtext is that these girls all have one shot at redemption, and Lexi and Jules should get theirs after so much suffering. Rue Bennett, Zendaya, stands in despair and determination. Her entire arc leads to this climax. Rue Bennett, life or death. And that brings us to Rue herself. By now, we know she's been forced to execute one last run for Alamo, break into Lori's compound and retrieve the stolen money. In EP7, she narrowly survived being buried alive, and she even made a blood oath with Lori to prove loyalty. Now, at the finale start, Rue is exhausted and wounded, yet still determined. She's at that old Western-style compound, Lori's place, possibly with her old friend Ollie, Coleman Domingo, back by her side, or maybe desperately trying to find a way. A scene may show her banging on Lori's door, pleading for help or safe refuge. But Lori is fragile. Per the episode's secret notes, it's confirmed that Lori dies by suicide. One can imagine Lori arriving, desperate and sick of it all, and opting out. It's a dark, haunting moment. Rue may find Lori's body or a suicide note. Another gut punch that seals Rue's fear and guilt. Next, Rue has to face Alamo one final time. The preview implies Alamo is aware Rue was playing both sides. In tense flashback, we might see Ollie revealing the DEA's recording to Alamo, blackmail style. Rue probably stands by, unable to do more. The music swells. Alamo storms out, rifle in hand. Rue knows her life is on the line. Fans have speculated constantly. Will Rue die? Remember the Moses symbolism. Moses never makes it to the promised land. Or will Ali's own Book of the Dead get another name? Comic Basics even noted that Season 3 forces Rue's arc toward a reckoning. For a moment, it seems Alamo might kill her. He even galloped into earlier episodes ready to. But then, Rue does one last thing that might surprise you. She points out to Alamo that the true thief is Lori, who he trusted, and to get Lori's money back. Rue calls Faye, leads Alamo to the location of the key. In other words, Rue has essentially fulfilled her promise. She got him the key via the photo Faye sent, and has now handed him the plot twist. As the dust settles, the final beats bring a bittersweet resolution. The DEA agents swarm in just at the perfect time, as hinted by Sam Levinson's warning that big things were about to happen. We may see the authorities taking Faye and maybe Big Eddie or others into custody. Alamo, furious and wrong-footed, might end up the one who is betrayed, perhaps shot by Maddie or captured by police. One fan theory imagined Maddie killing him and taking over his empire, but official word is unclear. In any case, Alamo's empire crumbles. Rue's cooperation with the DEA likely spares her. She did mention that good kid will get leniency. We might see her flash that meek, "I did my job" line to Agent Jimenez, and here, "You did good, kid," finally giving her a bit of hope. The finale wraps up Rue's story on a note of painful hope. She may not physically get to a beautiful promised land, but she does reach a new understanding of herself. The show might end with Rue battered and bruised, but alive, perhaps walking away from Mexico alone. The very last shot, if we trust press images, is Rue standing in the daylight, looking battered yet determined. Perhaps she's heading back home to reconcile with her family or move to rehab with new purpose. It's deliberately ambiguous. The theme has always been Rue battling addiction and guilt, and in God We Trust, she finally faces what those choices cost her. In summary, the finale delivers on its promise. Every character confronts a final trial. Cassie and Maddie find heartbreak and an unexpected bond. Rue endures her worst fear so she can, if lucky, start fresh. Jules and Lexi take their first steps toward grown-up lives. And while some threads are left open, we never did see Elliot. The main story feels concluded. Personal take. Watching this finale feels like running a gauntlet of emotions. Fear pulses through every frame. We know Rue has been near death too many times. Excitement crackles as secrets drop, and heartbreak looms larger than ever. For a show steeped in loss and redemption, this ending is appropriately bittersweet. Rue doesn't get a cinematic fairy tale ending, but there's a glimmer of redemption. She surrenders to the chaos she helped create and makes a choice to break free, just like her biblical namesake tried. Cassie and Maddie, after so much tragedy, form an unlikely sisterhood that hints at a better tomorrow. And in the end, you can't help but root for Rue. She's been our flawed guide all along. When Zendaya's face finally faded to black, we felt it. Relief that Rue survived, sorrow for all she's lost, and hope that maybe after all this, she finally does find her own version of the promised land. It's a finale that stays with you long after the credits roll, exactly as it should in Euphoria. Sources: official press and previews for Euphoria Season 3 finale, episode analyses and recaps, and interviews/theories with the cast and creators.